Welcome to the deep dive.
Ah,
You know that moment, right? You've studied the verbs, you know the grammar rules, you've practiced,
Mhm.
and you finally work up the nerve to talk to a native English speaker.
Mhm.
You manage the hello, and then bam, nothing. Just silence. That like stomach-dropping, awkward pause where your brain just completely wipes itself clean.
Oh, yeah.
That moment.
Yeah.
That's got to be the biggest enemy of fluency, hasn't it?
It really is. And that fear, the fear of that conversational black hole, it stops so many people, so many learners from even trying to practice.
Right.
But the source material we're digging into today offers this. Well, it's a pretty radical idea, actually. It claims the secret to getting that instant conversational flow isn't about learning how to speak perfectly.
Okay.
It's about learning how to ask really effectively, fundamentally shifting your focus.
Interesting. So we're diving into this collection, 100 essential English questions.
Exactly, 100 questions. And it's crucial to understand these aren't just like vocabulary lists. No, they're analyzed, they're grouped together. They're presented as actual tools.
Tools.
Yeah, powerful tools to make your conversations, flow naturally, sound right, and basically kill that awkward silence for good.
Okay, so the promise here is pretty big then. It's about transforming your role in the conversation.
Totally. It's about moving you from that passive spot,
Yeah.
waiting for someone else to talk, waiting for them to ask you something, to actually taking the reins.
Taking the lead.
Yeah, guiding the chat. And maybe most importantly, showing that you're genuinely interested. Because let's be honest, people love talking to someone who asks good questions,
Yeah.
thoughtful ones.
That's true. People do love to talk about themselves if given the chance.
Absolutely. And the source gives a really practical method to make these questions stick too, something called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, I've heard of this. Explain that a bit.
So the idea is simple but powerful. You listen to a native speaker saying the question, and then you immediately repeat it, like an echo, trying to match the rhythm, the intonation, everything.
But very active listening and speaking.
Exactly. And the source says this method is designed for, well, speed and for making it last. Long-term retention.
Why is it so effective? What's going on there?
Well, the source breaks it down into 3 things happening at once. Skills that often trip learners up. First, it's training your mouth.
Physically.
Physically, yeah. You're building muscle memory for the sounds, the way English flows, getting that natural articulation down so your brain doesn't have to consciously build every single sound. It becomes more automatic. Physical training for your mouth.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second thing?
Second, you're training your ears. You get used to how English really sounds. The rhythm, the stress, the way words kind of blend together. Which, let's face it, can sound way different from the slow, careful English in textbooks or apps.
Definitely. Real spoken English is fast and messy sometimes.
It is. And third, and this is maybe the most important bit for actual fluency, you're training your brain memory for automatic pattern recall.
Patterns.
By echoing these full questions right away, you're basically forcing these complete sentence structures into your long-term memory, making them easy to grab when you need them.
Ah, so it's not just words, it's the whole chunk.
The whole chunk. And the source makes a point of saying, students who really do this, they report their speaking gets smoother, more automatic, sometimes really quickly, like in just a week.
Wow.
That's what they report. And that boost in confidence, that comes from just knowing the phrases there, ready to go. It's huge. It helps get rid of that horrible, thinking gap.
Right, that pause while you translate in your head or try to build the sentence. Okay, I see the power in that technique.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's dig into this conversational mindset shift you mentioned. Because the source isn't just giving us phrases, it's talking about a whole philosophy, right? About, like, power dynamics in a chat.
Exactly. It emphasizes this core idea. In pretty much any conversation, there are these 2 basic roles playing out. There's the person who's mainly speaking, sharing information.
Right.
And there's the person who's mainly asking the questions, guiding the flow.
And language learners usually focus on being the speaker.
Overwhelmingly, yes. All the focus is on crafting replies, giving the right information, maybe defending a point. But the source argues if you consciously decide to master the asker role, that's where the control is.
Control over the conversation.
Yeah, control over the direction, the pace, even how comfortable everyone feels.
Okay, let's go back to that freezing moment we talked about. That awkward silence.
Why does our mind go blank like that?
Well, often it's because you're frantically trying to build the perfect sentence, right? Grammatically perfect, sounds intelligent, that takes a massive amount of brain power, especially under pressure.
Totally.
But think about what a native speaker does if there's a little lull or if they need a second. They don't usually launch into some complex statement.
No, they often just ask a simple, natural question, something easy. It instantly passes the conversational ball back to the other person.
Ah, okay. Like a little conversational nudge.
Exactly. It's a bridge. They don't need a whole speech. They just need a quick, smooth way to keep things moving. And that's the real power behind these 100 questions. They're bridges. Linguistic bridges, sure, but maybe more importantly, psychological ones.
Psychological.
Hmm.
How so? What's the impact?
Well, the source highlights three main things. First, asking questions makes other people feel comfortable. Why? Because you're taking the pressure off them.
Right. They don't have to think, oh no, what do I say next?
Precisely. You're doing the heavy lifting of navigating the conversation. That's relaxing for the other person.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Second, and this is where real connection starts to build, asking good questions shows you're actually interested in them. Genuinely.
Not just filling silence.
Not just filling silence.
No.
When you ask about their life, their opinions, their plans, you're implicitly saying, hey, your story matters. Your thoughts are valuable to me.
And people respond to that feeling of being valued.
Absolutely. That validation is like fuel for the conversation. It keeps it flowing naturally, effortlessly. So the core message we really need to hammer home here is learning these 100 questions isn't just about memorizing sentences. It's learning 100 ways to connect with people, 100 ways to lead the conversation subtly, and maybe most importantly, 100 ways to sound confident because you're focusing your energy outwards onto them, not inwards on your own anxieties.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's look at the structure. You said these 100 questions are organized.
Yeah, really logically, actually, into 10 categories that kind of follow the natural progression of a conversation. You start with the simple stuff, the connection builders, and then move towards more specific or complex situations.
So that helps you know which tool to pull out when.
Exactly. You don't ask about someone's 5-year plan 2 seconds after saying hello.
Right. Okay, so let's walk through these. The source starts with 4 foundational categories.
Yep, categories 1 to 4. These are all about laying the groundwork, establishing that immediate common ground, and just getting past that initial hurdle.
Makes sense. So, category 1, getting to know someone. First meeting type stuff, parties, classes.
Exactly. Basic facts, background info. The goal here is just immediate context. Where are we? Who are you, generally speaking?
Give some examples. What kind of questions are we talking about?
Okay, well, take number 3. How long have you been living here? It's simple, direct, anchors the conversation right where you both are.
And the source points out patterns here.
Yes, that's key. The pattern is, how long have you been doing something, being somewhere? Once you know that pattern, you can swap things in. How long have you been learning English? How long have you been waiting? See?
Ah, okay. So it's the structure, not just one sentence. What else is in this first batch?
Number 5, what kind of work do you do? Very standard, totally normal question. Or, if you're talking to 2 people together, number 1, how did you 2 meet? That's a great one.
Why is that one so good?
Because it invites them to tell a story they probably already know and like telling together. It takes the focus off you entirely and puts it onto their shared experience. Easy win.
Nice. And the pattern there is simple, too. How did you do something in the past?
Exactly. Simple past tense, asking for a narrative. So these first 10 questions, they're really the bedrock. Stop the silence, find common ground location, job, how people know each other. Foundational.
Okay, got it. Moving on to category 2.
Yeah.
Daily life questions. Who are these for?
Think people you see more regularly, colleagues you pass in the hall, maybe your neighbor, the barista you see every morning. It's about connecting over routine, everyday stuff.
Like the classic, how's your day been? Number 11.
Exactly. And here the source offers a really important cultural tip, especially for, say, American English. This question, how's your day been? That's often what linguists call
Phatic?
phatic communication. Yeah, it's like social glue. It's not always a genuine request for a detailed report of everything that happened since breakfast.
Right, so a learner shouldn't feel they need to give a long, complicated answer.
Not usually, no. A simple, good thanks, how about yours, is often perfect. Recognizing it as a connection signal, not an interrogation, is key.
Good tip. What else is in this daily life bucket?
Simple check-ins like, number 12, did you sleep okay last night? Or looking ahead slightly, number 19, got any plans for tonight?
And the patterns here. Did you simple past action? Seems common.
Yep. And for the plans one, it's that informal, got any noun activity for time? Very common, very natural way to ask about the near future. Great little starters for those regular brief interactions.
Okay. Category 3 is food and dining. Seems like a safe topic.
Super safe, totally universal, right? Everyone eats. It's low stakes, usually enjoyable to talk about.
So simple utility questions first, like number 21. Are you hungry? Obvious, but used constantly.
Constantly. Then you get into preferences, like number 23. Do you like spicy food? And again, notice the pattern. Do you like something? You can swap in anything there. Coffee, Italian food, cooking shows. Endless possibilities from one simple structure.
Right. And I like number 30. What did you think of the food? Perfect for right after you've eaten together.
Exactly. It turns the shared experience of eating into a shared conversation. Easy pivot. Plus, you can ask about habits. Do you cook at home? Number 26. Or what do you usually eat for breakfast? Number 25.
The usually pattern again. What do you usually verb for time meal?
Yep. Great for understanding routines. Food is just. It's an easy, honest way to connect. It gets you past small talk like the weather, but it's still comfortable for pretty much everyone.
Makes sense. And the last one in this foundational block is category 4, weekend and free time. Talking about fun stuff.
Yeah, this taps into relaxation, lifestyle, hobbies, things people generally enjoy discussing. It lets you learn a bit more about their personality without getting too personal too quickly.
The absolute classic Monday morning question, number 31. What did you do this weekend?
Can't go wrong with that one. Simple past tense invites a story.
And then you can dig into preferences, like number 36. What's your favorite way to relax?
Good one. That invites a more descriptive answer, often starting with ing verbs, right? My favorite way to relax is reading or going for walks.
Yeah. And the source highlights another pattern here, the choice question. Like number 35. Do you prefer staying home or going out?
Ah, yes. The do you prefer option A or option B structure? Super useful. It forces a little decision, gives you immediate information, and opens the door for them to explain why they prefer one over the other. You can use that structure for almost any topic. Very powerful pattern. Okay, so those first 4 categories really establish that initial connection, the small talk. Now the next set, categories 5, 6, and 7, they start to build on that foundation. They move into slightly deeper, more contextual connections, really important for longer conversations, especially in work or study settings.
Right, makes sense. So category 5, work and study. This seems crucial for professional contexts, obviously. Networking events, talking to colleagues.
Absolutely. And these questions cleverly cover both the present situation and the person's background or history in that context.
Okay, like what? Give me an example for the present.
Well, for immediate work stuff, you've got number 42. What project are you currently working on? Notice the grammar there, are you currently working on? Present continuous. It signals focus on what's happening right now, the active tasks.
Gotcha. And for background?
You have things like number 41. How long have you been working here? We saw that. How long have you been structured back in category 1, right?
Yeah, with living here. So the patterns repeat.
They absolutely repeat. That's the whole point the source keeps making. Learn the pattern, use it everywhere. Another key one here is about positivity, number 47. What do you enjoy most about your job?
Ah, that's a good one. Better than asking, is your job stressful?
Way better. It shifts the focus from problems or duties to passion or satisfaction. It invites a more positive, maybe more revealing answer. And the pattern is reusable. What do you enjoy most about thing? Your city, your hobby, this event.
Nice. Okay, category 6 is travel and places. That always seems like a winner.
It really is. Travel tends to bring up good memories, exciting stories, future dreams. Even if someone hasn't traveled a ton, just asking the questions can be fun and engaging. It sparks imagination.
So you've got the basics like number 51, have you traveled anywhere recently? But it also looks towards the future.
Yeah, like number 56. Where would you love to travel next? That would love to structure is great for talking about desires, aspirations, not just facts, but dreams.
And the preference pattern pops up again, like number 54. Do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
Yep. Do you prefer X or Y? Beach or mountains? City break or nature retreat? It forces that choice, which naturally leads to talking about why the weather, the activities, past experiences generates conversation easily.
And number 59, would you like to live in another country someday? That feels a bit deeper.
It is. It moves beyond just vacations and into life goals. It shows a real interest in their bigger picture. And again, the structure, would you like to do something someday, is perfect for exploring those longer-term hopes.
Okay. Then category 7, preferences and opinions. This is where we really start to see personality.
Exactly. We're moving beyond just what people do and into who they are, how they see the world. This category is designed for richer, more meaningful conversations because the questions often require a bit of self-reflection from the person answering.
But how do you do that without sounding, I don't know, nosy or like you're psychoanalyzing them?
Great question. The source suggests using questions built around common, generally understood comparisons or dichotomies, like number 63. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Ah, okay. That's relatable. Low stakes.
Totally. And the pattern is super powerful. Are you a type A person or a type B person? Once you grasp that structure, you can create tons of questions. Are you a planner or spontaneous? Are you a cat person or a dog person? Which is number 67. You just plug in the opposing ideas. No need to invent a whole sentence structure each time.
That pattern idea, the chord, as the source seems to call it, feels like the real unlock here.
It absolutely is. Another good one like that is number 69. Would you say you're more introverted or extroverted? Again, uses a common framework, invites more than a yes-no answer, encourages a bit of explanation. You, as the asker, are facilitating their ability to express themselves more deeply.
You're helping them be fluent in a way.
In a very real way, yes.
Yeah.
And then you have the simpler preference questions, too, tying back to earlier patterns, like number 65. Do you enjoy reading books? Uses that. Do you enjoy doing something? Structure. Easy way to find shared interests in movies, music, hobbies. Quick cultural common ground.
All right. We're into the home stretch, the final 3 categories. And these seem focused on flexibility, handling the specific situation you're in, looking ahead, and, rescuing a dying conversation.
Exactly. They're about adapting to the moment and keeping things moving forward. So category 8. Current situation questions. The source emphasizes these are brilliant because they work anywhere. Doesn't matter if you're at a conference, waiting in line, at a party. They use the immediate surroundings as the topic.
So they feel really natural because they're about the here and now.
Precisely. They anchor the conversation in your shared reality. If you're somewhere new, you might use number 71. How long have you been around here? Or number 76, what brings you here today? One sets the time context, the other sets the purpose. Very efficient.
Okay. What if you're, like, waiting for something to start or it's really crowded?
Perfect opportunity. Use the situation. Number 78. Is it usually this crowded? Simple structure. Is it usually like this? It acknowledges something you're both experiencing. It invites agreement, maybe a shared complaint or observation.
Yeah.
Very low effort, very natural.
Yeah. Or like number 74, do you know when it begins if you're waiting for an event? Just practical, useful English. Shows you're engaged with the situation.
Exactly. These are real-world tools for navigating immediate circumstances smoothly.
Okay, then category 9. Future plans questions. Now, the source presents these as high value for connection, showing you care about their dreams and goals.
Yes, definitely. Moves beyond the present.
But I got to push back a little here. Some of these feel kind of big. Like number 85, what do you want to achieve next year? Or especially number 87, where do you see yourself a few years from now? If you're an English learner talking to someone relatively new, isn't that a bit intense, potentially intrusive?
That's a really important point and a fair critique. The source doesn't explicitly say, don't ask this on a first meeting, but the implication based on the flow of categories is crucial.
Right.
You don't lead with these big life questions. You earn the right to ask them by successfully navigating categories 1 through, say, 7 first. Build that rapport, establish comfort. Then you start closer to the present. Ask number 81, what are your plans for tomorrow? Simple, near future.
Okay.
If that goes well, maybe move to the medium term, like number 82. Got any vacation plans coming up? See how the conversation feels.
I see. So the really ambitious ones, the where do you see yourself questions, those are for when a connection is already established, maybe a second or third conversation, or if the vibe is right.
Exactly. They're potentially the payoff for building trust earlier. Asking about the future can validate someone and show deep interest, but only if the foundation is there. Otherwise, yeah, it could feel like an interview or just too personal.
Got it. Timing and context are key for those. And the pattern is often about future intentions. What are you planning to do? What do you want to achieve? Using modals like will, going to, want to.
Precisely. And finally, the essential toolkit. Category 10, conversation rescue questions. These are your lifesavers.
The panic button questions.
Sort of. For when the conversation naturally lulls. Or maybe a topic has just run out of steam and you feel that silence creeping back in.
What have we got in the rescue kit?
It ranges from really simple resets to more creative prompts. On the simple side, you have things like number 91, so how's everything going? Or number 92, what's new with you? They're general, open-ended, don't demand a specific answer, and just gently nudge the conversation back to life. Buys you thinking time, too.
Okay, easy enough. But what if you need a bigger shift? Like the topic is dead, you need something completely new.
That's where the hypotheticals come in, like number 98. What would you do if you won a big prize?
Total change of direction.
Complete change. It sparks imagination, usually gets some more creative, detailed response, and the pattern is often conditional. What would you do if imaginary situation happened? Great way to inject some fun and energy if things are flagging.
And the last one, number 100, what's your story? Wow, that's pretty direct.
It is direct, but it's also beautifully open-ended. It's an invitation, really. An invitation for the other person to share whatever narrative they feel is important about themselves. It perfectly sums up the whole goal of these questions, making space for connection by inviting people to share their stories. So we've gone through all 10 categories, looked at like dozens of specific questions. That's a lot of information for you, the learner, to absorb.
Definitely. Feels a bit overwhelming, maybe.
It could, yeah. Which is why we absolutely have to circle back and hammer home what the source says is the real secret here. the most crucial takeaway.
Which is not just memorizing 100 sentences.
Absolutely not. If you try to do that, just rote memorization of 100 distinct phrases, you'll likely end up freezing again. Your brain will overload, just like trying to recall every single grammar rule on the spot.
So the secret is
The secret is understanding the patterns, the underlying rhythm, the structure, the music of these questions.
chords. You mentioned chords earlier.
Exactly, the chords. Think about music. A guitarist doesn't memorize millions of individual notes for every song ever written. No, they learn the key chords, the scales, the rhythmic structures, and then they can play countless songs, even improvise. It's the same idea here.
Okay, so let's recap some of those major chords we identified. There was the preference chord.
Right. The structure. Do you prefer option A or option B? We saw that in food, travel, lifestyle.
Super versatile.
Incredibly versatile. It gives you a ready-made structure for asking opinions on almost anything. Parallel structure, forces a choice, sparks discussion. You just swap out the nouns, takes away the brain freeze of sentence construction.
Okay, what was another big one? The habit routine chord.
Yes, vital for daily life and food categories. The basic rhythm, what you usually do for at time situation.
Like, what do you usually eat for breakfast, or what do you usually do after work?
Exactly. Once you internalize that, what do you usually structure, maybe with common prepositions like for or at, you can generate tons of natural sounding questions about people's routines. It becomes automatic.
And the third main one we kept seeing was about experience, often using those perfect tenses. The experience chord.
Often structured like, how long have you been doing something?
How long have you been living here? How long have you been working here? How long have you been learning guitar?
Precisely. It establishes context, shows interest in their history with something. Crucially, understanding that these patterns repeat these three chords and a few others, that's what gives you unlimited potential.
So you learn the patterns, practice them, maybe using that shadowing technique,
Yes.
and then you're not just stuck with the 100 examples. You can create your own questions on the fly that sound natural and are grammatically solid because they follow these proven structures.
That's the breakthrough. That's the fluency jump the source is promising. It's moving from reciting lines to actually generating conversation.
And the payoff. Why does this work so well?
The payoff is huge. When you ask good questions, questions that show genuine structured interest, people don't just give you one-word answers. They want to talk to you.
Because you're making it easy and pleasant for them.
Exactly. You're showing curiosity in a comfortable way.
Yeah.
You're giving them the gift of being able to share their thoughts, their stories, their experiences without feeling put on the spot.
So your own confidence grows and your curiosity starts to lead the way.
Perfectly put. The more you practice these patterns, especially with shadowing to get the sound right, the less you'll have to consciously think, okay, grammar rule dot verb, okay, ask this. Instead, you'll just feel a natural curiosity about something.
And the question will just come out.
It'll flow out, built on one of these reliable structures. That's the goal. Effortless, confident asking.
Wow. Okay, that was genuinely a deep dive into these 100 questions.
Yeah.
But more than the questions, into the whole philosophy of asking. These really aren't just lists of words, are they? They're like blueprints. Blueprints for building connections.
Well said. Blueprints for bridges, maybe. Connecting you to native speakers confidently and naturally.
So to the listener who's gone through this with us, what's the practical next step? It still feels like a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the source gives very clear advice on this. Don't try to swallow the whole thing at once. Start small. Really small.
How small?
Pick maybe 5 questions. Just 5. Perhaps choose one using that preference chord. Do you prefer A or B? Maybe 2 from the habit chord. What do you usually do? And 2 from the experience chord. How long have you been?
Right.
Pick ones that feel relatively easy or useful for you.
Okay, just 5. Then what?
Then commit to really working with them for a week. Use that shadowing technique, listen, repeat, get the sound and rhythm, and then, crucially, try to actually use them in real conversations, even short ones.
Build the confidence with a small set first.
Exactly. Then next week, maybe add 5 more. Layer it up.
Yeah.
Build your toolkit, build your confidence step by manageable step. That gradual approach, combined with the physical practice of shadowing and focusing on the patterns, that's the path to making it stick, making it automatic.
It feels much more achievable broken down like that.
It is. And remember the big picture. You've learned today about shifting your role. You've learned how to become the person who asks, the one who guides the conversation, who connects with others, who makes people feel interesting and valued.
That's a powerful position to be in any language.
It truly is. It's conversational leadership.
So here's something to think about then. If these simple, well-structured questions based on patterns you can master really are the key to opening doors and making genuine connections, what amazing story, what incredible insight, what potential friendship are you missing out on right now? Just because you haven't taken that first step and asked that first simple question.
Go find out.